Welcome to Oregon Voters Digest, the program that brings forward the social and political issues that are important to people living here in the Pacific Northwest. And now, your host, Bruce Broussard.
Welcome again to this segment of Oregon Voters Digest. I'm Bruce Broussard, your host, and my co-host with me is Big Bob Williams, and you've seen him before. And it's very important too, because you know the format of this show is to inform and educate. That's what we're all about. And there's so many activities that are being happening to us at this point in time. Naturally, we got a presidential election, and that's gearing up big time. Mm-hmm. And one could almost spend 2 days or 3 days on it every day. And things are gearing up. But we do know one thing. There will be some presidential candidates on both sides of the aisles that are going to be running. So at some point in time, when it gets to the point where we know exactly who's going to be running for office, then we'll probably delve into that particular area at that point in time. But right now, we want to get right back to Oregon. In fact, get right back to the largest city in the state of Oregon, which is Portland. And in most cases, you never hear about the other cities, the major cities, in Oregon other than Portland.
Right.
And we got a very naturally we got a very active mayor, and Ted Wheeler, and so my point is that all the action is right here in the Portland metropolitan area, and it also impact other larger cities like we got the counties, you got me, and we got Clackamas County, we got Washington County, we got Multnomah County, and then we got Clark County in Vancouver.
Yes.
So we got to include that aspect of it too. But still, Portland is still the leading key point. And they're taking all the hits, all the major hits aspect of it. A lot of activities, and the Blazers are here too, by the way. So when you think about the Portland metropolitan area, that's district number 2 with the county, Multnomah County. And Sheriff, what's his name? Sheriff Dearpaul is the commissioner for that particular district. However, this is her second term, and she's still learning. As far as I'm concerned, she's still on boot camp aspect of it, and there's still some major issues here. And she doesn't have the history of that in that area, but in fact she's there,
right?
And she's sitting there, but still, Portland is still at issue. And we got some major issues there. So what we're going to do, we're going to continue our discussion. So you'll know, I'm just throwing that out on the table to let you know that why we're going to be spending more time in Portland. But realistically, we're talking about Oregon across the board. Because there's a lot of Oregon and part of Washington, which is Vancouver, Washington, and we're right in the same location. In fact, just to give you an idea that we've said it before, so we're saying it again. Vanport, all Vanport was Vanport and Portland, which was the largest city in the Pacific Northwest. You got me? And we've had all kinds of history on that piece aspect of it. But I want you to understand that's where we're sitting right here. We're sitting in Vanport, and we're sitting in district number 2, Multnomah County, and the largest county in the state aspect of it. So that's what we're going to be doing. But realistically, we're going to be talking about Oregon issues across the board. And so that's the way we're going to start. And what we're going to do is that just to kind of give you this little head start, a feel for what direction we're going to be going today, is that the mayor of Portland, Mayor Wheeler, has owned up to his own issues. This is his second tour as mayor, and the fact of the matter is, when he first came to Portland, as far as the issues are concerned, the only identity he had at that point in time with Portland was the fact that he was born and raised here. He went to school here, in this area in southeast Portland. They lived there. But other than that, he did not know the issues. And he went around the state. He basically ran for the county first.
Right.
So he spent 4 years there at the county, and then he went to the state as treasurer. And he spent some time there. But again, a lot of times it's just staffers that are doing the job, and he didn't have the time to really understand any one of those positions as far as what the issues really are. I mean, staffers even in the county are basically running the county. And then the elected officials are individuals from our standpoint who are supposed to be the so-called chairperson or general manager or somebody who's in charge that represents us. And sometimes we have problems with that from the standpoint, because if they don't have the background and we have the background, number of citizens who are basically a representative of the various districts have the background. But bottom line, that's why sometimes that's a frustration with people that are not elected to office.
Right.
They know what the issues are, but the individuals who are basically running for office are either, in all due respect, pretty well come under the auspices of the business community because they own the they own the they own the they got the money because the election is basically all about the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm just turning my deal off just to make sure that we're on there. Okay, good. We're there
Yeah.
now. Okay, good. So I want to make sure that I share that with you again too, because too often we tend not to understand what this whole issue between politics and the person that's represented the majority and the community.
Mm-hmm.
We have various organizations and they're run by competent staffers because those staffers have to go through interviews. They have to have resumes and all this, that, and the other. They have to have. So now there they are, and then their general manager or the person who's responsible for them, in most cases, that never exists because every time there's an election, every 2 years, we got an election. And so consequently, that person is changing. So in most cases, those individuals, regardless of where they are, they basically go to an OJT, on-the-job training kind of a situation. And the point I'm making is that you got the city of Portland, and then you got Multnomah County. City of Portland is in District Number 2. And there are 3 other different districts that represent cities and municipalities and things of that nature. They have issues also too, but unfortunately, all of the attention, even from the media standpoint, all of the attention is given to Multnomah County and Portland.
Right.
Okay, and so here's Portland, and we've got the most active mayor because it's the largest city in the state of Oregon through Wheeler. So consequently, there's Wheeler. And in most cases, the majority of his supporters, major supporters, from a money standpoint, was the business community.
Right.
Okay, and that's been done that from a historical standpoint traditionally. That's been there, but we have to change, and things have changed. I say things have changed. Well, we got our youth. I mean, that has changed. You know what I mean? And we go back a ways. You know, from the standpoint of the other politics of it all. It's a different ball game. You know what I mean? Folks were involved, even though it was a business community, but they hired folks to get involved in the process. And those folks, basically lobbyists and things of that nature, were very active to a certain degree, active for the people to a certain degree. And the people really had no access. TV wasn't as covered during that particular time. But now it is. And new people are getting elected. The old folks
everybody carry their own television.
They carry their own television,
own recorder.
Exactly. I've taken a long time on that point, but it's important that people kind of get a feel for where we're going and why we're doing what we're doing.
Right.
And why I have Bob here. Bob and I are just conversing because we've got background. We've been involved in this aspect of it. And we're trying to make it as simple as possible. It's not about Bob. It's not about Bruce Broussard. No. It's about the issues. And we want to make sure we stress that to you. And we're just doing it that way because otherwise you lose sight of about getting responsible because you got to come to the table nowadays. Yes. We got elections that are coming on. A good example, I'll throw something out to you. We've got two new county commissioners. You know, we got Julia Brim Edwards. Right. And we got Brom from the Willamette Week, right? Well, her husband is the Willamette Week, but she was she was Attorney General, right?
But
Brom.
She was. I can't remember. You know, this old age is getting to me.
Well, no, you're okay. You're okay. But bottom line is that she was involved in the other end, and you would think that. Wait a minute now. Brim Edwards, we've known Brim Edwards. She's had a history. Her lane was education.
Right.
Okay. And when she got back from Nike, she was from Nike. So when she got back into politics, before she got back, she was strictly education. And then all of a sudden she came back into education and went to the same Portland Public School, which has been a major issue for a number of years. But now all of a sudden the people are taking of interest. Folks are getting elected and they're asking questions and getting involved. So she got involved. So I think that why would she want to run for county commissioner? If from a lay standpoint, the Portland Public Schools, as far as those positions, those are elected positions, but they're not paid positions.
Right.
The county is a different ballgame. commissioners are paid. 100,000 plus
I was
for
gonna say,
commissioners.
well,
100,000, and the chair 200,000 plus. Got me? And then in fact, we look at, just since you said that piece, you look at the city of Portland. It's totally opposite. They get less money, but they get more of their activities. Why? Because in all due respect, they make it a little less to a certain degree because really they're just one part of the county. They're one part of the county. They got all these other entities aspect of it, and every one has a commissioner and a chair, but you don't hear something about it unless you're more aware of where to go to find them. Right? Yeah, if you don't live. So the name of the game is that I was kind of interested that why would she leave the Portland Public Schools, which we needed that support. She should have been. She was chair initially for a minute. And then she was a chair. Then all of a sudden now she's shifting over here for the county. And you asked her to shift the question, well, why is that happening? And then we understood what the format of the county was as far as responsibility and typically the chairperson of the county always ran the whole county.
Right.
It wasn't about the commissioners. They were just there. Okay, got me? But now all of a sudden now you got a responsible person who's got very familiar with what's going down. Now it's going to be part of the county commissioners. And when I think about Brom, I think about the same thing. She's a seasoned politician, knowing what's going on, but why would she get out of her lane to come to the county? So then all of a sudden, I'm just throwing something on the table. Then you got J. Paul. This is her last term. This is her second term. Then once, I wonder who's going to run for that position. Is it going to be another seasoned position? And so if they do another senior person, then guess who has control now? The majority. There's 5 people there. You got the chair and 4 county commissioners.
Right.
In this particular case, now you'll have the chair and you got 2 county commissioners. Got me? And the other 2 people are basically. In all due respect, they're still in boot camp, you know.
Yeah,
but my point is that they just don't have that background. Okay,
Right.
These are seasoned politicians. Got me? And so we asked that question. I mean, it's the thing that comes to mind. We had some discussion before about this piece, and they said, "Well, geez, are they looking at the possibility of getting rid of the chair? So the chair's going to have 1 term. The next term, she'll have to run. See? Got me? So then you get someone responsible, maybe a Bram or Brom, to run." There's no in the world she could.
Right.
She could beat those. Fair.
It
You
is.
see, and you see where the media is coming from. The media basically said, "Okay, no, we got one way." And so my point, the reason why I brought that issue up, and I'm not trying to be anti in any way, shape, or form, but the fact of the matter is, I'm going back to the mayor, who's very in front, the city of Portland,
Right.
and say he's throwing a major package on the table from the standpoint of what are they going to do. It's kind of like saying, the heck with the so-called passion for the individual is, look, we're going to get rid of the homeless. Where they move, go to Clackamas or go anywhere else, but don't get out of Portland.
Well, they're not coming. They're not coming to Clackamas because the county commissioners there is ready to see what's going on.
Right.
But I know Beaverton passed. I can't remember what the ordinance was, but they passed something there.
Right.
In regards,
everybody's
to that.
reacting.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
So Portland's going to have to find out. The mayor's going to have to be a little bit more explicit on what he intends to do with the homeless, because they're not just going to disappear. You can't put any more on 33rd because that's full of junk cars, junk SUV, motorhomes, and you can't. And it really. I remember when the county commissioners and the city commissioners all said when they were talking about Wapato, that's too far out.
Yeah.
And that's where
it was a jail.
Yeah, it was a jail. That's too far out. Well, guess where everybody is at? They're at the Delta Park.
Mm-hmm.
They're on 33rd, and they're in your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of the division has been cleaned up. I was down. At one point, it looked like it was just a homeless camp.
Right.
And so they've cleaned up parts of that. But the thing is, these people have nowhere else to go. So I remember I used to travel 205, and then you didn't see homeless on 205 until you got the Powell.
Yeah, right.
And now they're back. They're all the way back to to the exit after
Right.
to 2 exits. They're Foster, and then they're further down.
Right.
You know, and so I'm looking at this and I'm going, wow. You know, and they're on both sides of the freeway, and so the statistics regarding freeways, all your commissioners and everybody else should know that people living on the freeways are more likely to catch cancer because of the emission from your vehicles. And so to allow those people there, is that a way to exterminate them? You know, I mean, that's why they build a lot of the walls. They say it's sound barriers, but it also takes that smog and fog and everything else and emissions coming out of those vehicles and stop it. You drive down 205, you see that the walls are black. That didn't come from dirt. That came from the emission from the cars. And so you know, who's going to pay the hospital bills? Well, we are. Why? Because it's going to cost you more to go to the hospital, and so you're taking care of those people that can't afford. Yeah. So we have to come up with something with a better widget. That's what I call it. I mean, because all they're doing is moving. It's kind of like you want to build a house, but do you want to build it on this side? So you move the dirt over to this side, and then someone come along and say, no, you get a better scenery over here, so you move the dirt back. And then someone else come along and go, yeah, but you're blocking this. And you just, so that's what they're doing with these people. They just keep moving them around. And the truth of the matter, you're not helping the situation. How do we help that situation? And what the mayor is coming up with, he says, hey, downtown Portland is suffering. Businesses are moving out.
Which is true.
Yeah. We on the national scene, people ask the question, why do you live in Portland? You know, because it's looked upon
That's economics. Economics.
as a homeless camp. And so the mayor has to do something. So now we come to the part of, okay, doing something is not enough, but doing something that's going to be sustainable is, and it's going to cost. So now where's the money going to come from? Higher taxes. People are not going to vote for that. Giving up that kicker. People are not going to vote from that. You know, so we the people are going to have to really and truly start taking some type of lead or going to the meeting to make sure that our voices are heard. Because we got people that don't understand the issue because they've never lived in the issue. They live out in Timbuktu, and we're talking about Portland. They live in the hills of West Portland. They live away from the scenery, from the facts.
In another district.
And so now we're getting ready to have Portland is getting ready to go to districts. They said in 2025, that's when that starts taking shape. Well, they got all this time to put it together, and I hope you guys are going to go to the meetings. You know, it's going to be very important that you, Mr. and Mrs. Portland, go to those meetings. Otherwise, you're going to have some stuff that you're not looking forward to. And you definitely need to go in when they went to city council. Just be sitting there. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to comment on anything. But as long as you're there, they're not going to try and just push some crap through to make you think you're getting something that you're not. And so, number one, you can't put anybody else down by the bus station.
In Portland.
Can't put anyone else on 33rd over off of going towards what's the name of it?
The airport, is it?
No, the jail, or the building that the county sold for $5 million. That was a $90 million building. What's going on there? You know, so you the people are going to have to really and truly say to the people that you elect, hey, that's not feasible. And don't do it just because it's your neighborhood, like the people over in Melhurst. You know, they said, hey, not in our neighborhood. Get these people off the street.
But at the same time, that's one of the reasons why I was chatting a little bit about Julia Brim Edwards running for county commissioner, and Brum, what's that? Yeah, Brum. Well, she's there. She's a sitting commissioner, and then the mayor just made this piece about getting rid of these homeless folks out of Portland.
Right.
Okay, got me. But before he made that statement, cities around were saying the same thing beforehand.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, they're reacting, if you will. So, to a certain degree, I'm saying, hey, that's a positive thing for Portland if, in fact, they're going to get an organized effort, guess what, to push them out into other areas outside of Portland. Understand what I'm saying? Because everybody was doing the same thing.
Well, yeah, remember we used to have the other cities or states were busing them to Portland.
Yeah.
At one time.
Still doing that, by the way. They still get vouchers.
Yeah. And now, what is he going to do? He's going to bus them where?
That's right. My point is...
he's going to become Texas.
But my point, I guess the point I'm making is the largest city in the state of Oregon now is going to be proactive as opposed to reactive. You got my point? Because, someone had said, even as you're saying, when there was announcements being made nationwide, about you live in Portland, you got to be kidding. We got the greatest crime, we got the murders, all that. We got the homeless and this, that, and the other. But in all due respect, they identified that billboard with Mayor Wheeler, when he ran the first time. Right. Me? And I'm saying now he's reacting to that. He's put a package together to say, no, you can't come here no more. You got to go somewhere else, but you don't come to Portland, Oregon.
Right.
So in a roundabout way, I'm just saying from the citizen standpoint, that's a positive. That's a positive because now the county's reacting as far as Multnomah County. And that's why I made the point about those commissioners shifting from their response, because we still have a problem with education. And I thought that was good when Julia was going back to public education to work with that school board to transition them a bit. And then Brum was the same deal. She's been around for quite some time too. And so I'm just saying that's a positive. And the key is that so we have to react to that, and then the other counties are reacting to what Portland is, especially the ones that are around
Clackamas and
Multnomah County
and Washington is taking heat, and Clark County is becoming one of those places where people that are leaving Portland are going.
Yep, but guess what? They have to react now.
Yeah.
They got to come up with their own guidelines. You know what I'm saying? And in fact, if you took this piece, you can check their city council's meeting, and they're saying the same thing. So in all due respect, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of a positive thing. From the standpoint, because I reside here,
right?
You know what I mean? And I'm having to deal with this issue every day, and I'm constantly, and you and I are able to talk about it here on the tube. But what about all these other people in the neighborhoods and whatever that are saying, "Wait a minute, I don't want them in my backyard." You know, the people downtown say, "I don't want them in my backyard," but they've accepted it to a certain point and just threw money at it and thought maybe that would solve the problem. No, that doesn't solve the problem at all. You got my point?
And we have laws on the books.
Yep.
Where it was, I think it was in Portland. I'm getting where a lady was getting ready to move.
Yeah.
And she had her house up for sale.
Yeah.
Some homeless people moved in.
Yeah.
And they couldn't evict them.
Yeah.
What kind of law is that?
Yeah.
Somebody can come into my property, take over, and I can't have the police come and move them out.
Well, landlords, like anything else. I mean, you know, if you get to the point that you got the wherewithal, not the wherewithal, but you work hard and you get yourself a piece of property, and now all of a sudden they're having problems just keeping what they have, and that was part of their retirement piece, for that matter. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
All you have to do is just work for it.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So you're right about that particular piece. So my point is, all of these folks now are reacting. Actually, that's 95% of the population, if you know what I'm saying. But beforehand, it was, hey, 95% of the population, we're going to do it this way. You got me? And now these people are reacting and calling those individuals who are supposed to be employees,
right,
as opposed to being employers, right?
Well, you know, for years I've said when the cart starts leading the horse can't run.
Yeah, right.
and so right now, our city and county commissioners are supposed to be the cart. We're the horse. We're supposed to be telling them what to do. And we're falling back, and they're telling us what they're going to do. And to me, that's kind of like your child running your household.
Yeah, right.
You know, with no knowledge.
Yep, that's right.
Because most of them don't have full knowledge of the issues and the situation in your neighborhood.
Right.
You know,
Oh, now you're talking about the homeless?
I'm talking about the people you elect. They don't have.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
they don't have knowledge of what's going on in the neighborhood. They hear about it.
Well, a lot of times,
so,
let me put it another way that we all kind of understand. Is as if to say, they don't have the knowledge because someone else has picked up that knowledge. Said this is the way it's going to be, and they'll get elected folks that just focuses in one entity, one
issue,
one person, one issue. You know
one person, one issue.
And so now it's gotten to the point they've exhausted that, and the people who actually got those leaders are saying, hey, we can't do nothing either. So why don't we come up with a whole new mousetrap, so to speak? We're going to join the masses now. We're going to say, okay, fine. We're going to respond to the concerns of the folks in the community, the people, businesses, everybody's in that thing, because they're talking about the downtown thing, just like you were saying before. Remember when Charlie Hale was there? He was the one that brought the issue, basically brought the homeless on the sidewalks. He was the one doing his administration, brought that piece, and that wasn't a Wheeler deal, so to speak. And then that was a major piece. The mental illness piece, in all due respect, as far as I'm concerned, was the county because
when they closed damage, they put all those people on the street.
But then that was in another county.
Yeah,
they didn't say it didn't affect Portland. For
well,
a while.
It did, because all those people that was from Portland that was going to damage.
But you didn't see as many. I'm just saying, as many. But then all of a sudden, then when it got to be a problem in Portland. Then here they built the Wapato jail piece aspect of it, specifically for that, and also to pick up the overload of people who had committed crimes, as opposed to renting stuff in other counties. They got more beds right there at this one particular facility. But they did do that. They sold that piece of property for $5 million. But again, people don't look at what they're paying for taxes. You know what I mean? You just pay. But you know, where did that other $85 million went? You see? No, 8.5. Well, no, 85 million.
No, it was $85.8 million.
That's right. See, but now we know. See, and then so now we're taking a little bit more close attention to the people who are being elected.
That's right.
Okay, and so I'm just saying that again. I get right back to the mayor's standpoint. When he got in, it was an on-the-job training. He was in boot camp. Like, you got my point?
We got to take care of the people. We got to, and now he's realizing that, hey, we need to take care of the people. We got to do something different. But they can't infringe on my rights. Well, we lost our rights. Right. To sustain them.
Right. I think now he's running for office.
Yes.
You got my point? He's owning up to the fact of he went through the training, he got out of boot camp. Said, look, I got to make some changes here. I mean, it's something wrong. And probably telling the entities that got him in there to begin with, hey, what you shared with me to represent what you're wanting to do, that is not going to cure the problems that we have. And I would say to bringing back the roses and going downtown and making sure that the streets and stuff, rubbish is not being thrown on the road. The graffiti all over the place, and we can't catch anybody. Or if not that, the demonstrations and no one's picking up and getting a permit to have a parade, or do anything of that nature.
Or the demonstrators come down and break out your windows, and you got to pay that $1,000 to have those windows or more.
Or basically breaking in the cars and stealing the cars and all this other exhaust systems and this, that, and the other, and then it's coming out of your pocket.
Right.
Well, after a while, you hey, look, I can't afford this stuff. In fact, it's even hitting I can't even stay in my house.
And for your district attorney to go on television and say, well, that's a minor crime, and we're not going to send police for that.
Yeah, but that's in the books. I'm just saying, but that's in the book. And where does that budget come from?
Yeah,
the county.
That's it.
That's a county responsibility. So the bottom line is that that's what I'm saying. we're going to put more responsible people on the county. Therefore, they will react to it in a responsible way. And then because I remember when Shrunk was there, not Shrunk, but Mike Shrunk. Yeah, Mike Shrunk. When Mike was there, he reacted.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he did the job, but he was part of the county. You got my point? And now they're looking at this particular the DA as if he's just an independent. Sure, he's elected independent, but no, he's part of the county.
Yeah.
That should be the responsibility of the county commissioners and you know what I'm saying? Those folks that are representing, because they represent that budget.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
But it's also the ripple effect. If you go and tell a criminal, well, that's a minor crime, we're not going to, they're going to continue to do that.
Yeah, they
and
do.
the ripple effect is the police stop.
Yeah.
Why am I arresting this guy? Spending why am I spending mine on trying to catch this guy when they're not going to do anything to him?
Well,
so the ripple effect becomes, and it stops down here with us, because we're the subjects that are being abused by this person that's doing the minor things that cost us.
Exactly. And when you start thinking about the police piece, you got Portland police.
Mm-hmm.
This is not Clackamas County or this, that, and the other. And in fact, when you think about the county, they have a law enforcement entity called the Sheriff Department, and the sheriff basically issued subpoenas and all that kind of good stuff, and
take care of the jails.
The jails, they take care of the jails aspect of it, and you know, the court systems, all that stuff. And then I think it was something that has just come to the table that I was privy to. I just happened to be on the other end in North Portland, and about the waterways, meaning that the Sheriff Department was basically taking care of all the waterways up to the city. Up to the city. They go down to the city. When you see the jazz festival, all that kind of good stuff, they monitor all of that kind of stuff. They took all of those old boats that were out in the river, if you were able to get out on and so that they took all of that stuff out. They took all. Remember when you crossed the bridge, the I-5 bridge? You saw those two boats, and it cost millions of dollars. And guess who took care of that? The sheriff. And then I found out that they're also active with the present law enforcement. They're also active, basically controlling the land issues. Not only they doing it for Portland, you know, the waterways here downtown, they're also doing it for Vancouver, because Vancouver don't have one. Isn't that something? And so here we got the reason why I was sitting and listening to this, it was an interesting session. The county now was going through the budget, and the county was getting ready to cut out that budget for the sheriff. They were going to cut that budget. Now here we are right in the midst of the summer. We got problems with the homeless. Remember when those boats were, all that folks were, they were all on the deal. They cleaned all that stuff up. Now they get ready to cut them off. Yeah, I think they had about 8 people or so there. Yeah. They're going to cut them out now to about 2. And I mean, that's ridiculous.
In other words, we got this. It's not functioning,
that's right.
But we got it.
That's right.
It's like going out to play basketball with a ball with no air.
Exactly. And so I looked at the hearing that they had the other day, the county had the other day. They had about 170 people that had signed up, okay? And I looked at it. And it took a short period of time. They probably only identified about 10% of the people that were on that list. 10%. And I said, you got to be kidding me. What happened to the people? Yeah. And you got folks that are sitting up there as county commissioners and the chair, and they just cut them off. And they would not give the people that responded the opportunity to ask questions. The county folks that were sitting at the elected officials didn't ask a question, didn't follow up on anything, and this, that, and the other. So then now you question what is going on with the deal here.
Well, one of the things that I notice about whether it's Clackamas, Washington, or Multnomah County, is that these people that we elect set a time frame for a meeting. Yeah. And if a group of us come, they'll cut the meeting off after 2 hours. If it's a 2 hour meeting, it's a 2 hour meeting.
Well, better than that. How about the 2-minute piece?
Yeah.
As the city,
you get 2 minutes to speak.
I will say from the city of Portland standpoint, when the mayor's talking about these issues that through all this stuff, giving these people 2 minutes, that's ridiculous.
You better have it together. No, I don't know too many people that can get their thoughts together. How can you
communicate 2 minutes and you got the person holding all the sticks there, got all the deal? You know what I'm saying? It's just sad. And then the same thing with the county. They couldn't ask any questions whatsoever. You would think that the folks the commissioners didn't know anything about the piece. Now the only chance now they're gonna. In fact, here we are today talking about this piece, and next Wednesday, next week, we're sitting up here recording this piece right now on Saturday. But the bottom line is it's the 3rd. But the bottom line, next week, next Wednesday, I don't know what day is that.
Well, let's see. Today is the 3rd. Sunday's the 4th. Monday's the 5th, 6th, 7th.
The 7th. On the 7th, I would encourage all of you, if you're around, go to the county on the 7th. It start at 9 o'clock, and you'll be given the opportunity to speak again.
Is that the building on Grand?
Be on Grand, that's right.
Right.
9 o'clock. Please attend that meeting and really use the sheriff department, because the sheriff department is a very interesting one. Got my point? We need that law enforcement piece to help Portland law enforcement too, aspect of it. But you have 3 minutes to speak. Please go up there and tell those commissioners you can't get rid of that water patrol aspect of it. Those folks are just land and sea. Even though the Marine Corps on land and sea, they're both land and sea, and they got uniform. And I'm going to add one more little caveat to that piece. Take them out of those dark uniforms, those black uniforms, and put the green ones back on. That was a positive venture piece.
Well, the stormtroopers in black.
No, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it was a different era. That's why you don't have the same demonstration you have at the city of Portland as opposed to the county. The county meets in Portland. And then there they are, sitting right there in the county building. You don't see, I mean, everything is nice and calm. People can talk.
Right.
No problem. They at least they can present themselves. Now whether or not the commissioners know what they're talking about, that's a different ballgame. But they get 3 minutes, okay? But the city of Portland, like now, with the major issues and whatever, only gets 2 minutes. Only gets 2 minutes. But I will say to you, again, I'm going to reiterate that particular point. The mayor is honing up. He's honing up to the issues, those major issues, and putting it all on the table. Say we're gonna get rid of the home, just like you were saying. They're gonna go. He's saying, look, it's not about am I concerned about where they go from here? Well, in all due respect, those cities out on the outlining area, they didn't say anything when they were pushing them over here and giving them vouchers, right, to come to Portland. Well, bottom line, now all those counties may have to get together now and say, from the state standpoint, say, we're going to have to deal with the issues. Right. We need to vet those people that are there. We need to get them jobs, if you will. We got to find out what's going down here. We got to make sure that mental illness are not just going from point to point to point, but i.e. there has to be some facilities like the Wapatos. Maybe we can even renegotiate that deal. Maybe get the person who bought the deal for $5 million, give them the one in the city, give them the one downtown Portland, give him that building, and let him just rent that out aspect of it, and then get that other one back on the roll with the county.
But the reason, from my understanding, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason Wapato was not being used is because when they did the planning for building the building, they didn't do any planning for maintaining the building, i.e. staffing and everything else. So they didn't have a budget.
Now you know how that happened, don't you? the reason why it happened that way, the people. When I'm thinking about the people who was the sheriff at that point in time or whatever.
Goosey?
No, it wasn't him. He came in afterwards, but and he supported the building aspect of it. But it was Dan. Dan, oh gee whiz.
So, what was Dan? I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Dan he was former Portland police.
Yeah.
And but he was the one that put that piece together because he knew what the needs were. You know, we were paying all kinds of dollars. Basically.
Yeah, we were sending people to Pendleton and everywhere else. Yeah.
And then he was reacting to mental illness because they're the jailers. They're the jailers. The sheriff or the jailers. The lawyer, they know what that's all about.
Right.
They're counting these people every day. But guess what? The people who were making the decision had no idea in terms of what they were doing.
Right.
That's what the key. That's what happened to that building. As if to say they were representing us, the voters, who was paying for it. They didn't give our money back. If they wanted to really say, we're not going to build this building, they already knew. Then send our taxpayers' money back.
Right.
But guess what?
There you go. How
they basically said, okay, fine, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to sit around here and do this and that. So like you said, we got to be more responsible when we talk about looking at those papers that you get when you get your voters pamphlets and you get the names of these people and this, that, and the other. They're employees. They're not employers. They don't talk down on you. You need to know that. Very, very important. That's the only way we're going to get back to the city of roses. Let's put it this way. Or the city of Clackamas, or Oregon City, or all of the neighboring deals. We're going to have to be a little bit more responsible to make sure we get into the electorate aspect of it.
And it's going to take a little of your time.
Exactly.
I tell you what, instead of sitting down watching Doogie Howser reruns, spend that hour educating yourself on how in the world are these people that we're elected doing this to me.
Exactly.
To us.
Exactly.
Because you're not alone.
Exactly.
It's a us factor when it comes to the citizens of Portland, Clackamas, and the Washington County.
Exactly. And then, as you say, and then the other major issue in that whole piece in terms of causation aspect of it, and I'm not saying it's negative, at least it gives up some of the information, is the regular media. The regular news media. They're not doing what we're doing.
No.
We're taking more than 2 minutes to. These are not sound bites we're talking about.
Right.
You got me? And this is serious stuff, and so consequently, we're not on the major news aspect of it. We're not paid employees.
Right.
As far as we are media, but we're not paid. And these young folks that are out there now, they're getting paid. They're not talking about solution. They're basically talking to what the issues are. And so we need to talk about the issue, but in order to be able to talk about the issue, you got to have the background, and that's the voting public, like us, the voting public.
That's it.
It's not that I'm employed by anybody. You're not either. See what I'm saying? We're just voters, and we're very familiar with the issue because we've been involved with those issues a mile a minute. So, like Bob was saying, that just reiterating that piece, you got to get involved this time around.
Yeah.
And like I just not trying to be redundant again, the mayor is taking the responsibility now and say, look, these are the goddamn issues here, from an employee standpoint, coming back to us, say, these are the issues, and I'm going to get rid of them. I'm going to start dotting the I's, and the laws that are on the book, we're going to make sure we do them. And also, well, wait a minute, this other passionate group over here saying, wait a minute, they got other issues. No, that's not the issue right now. They're going to be gone. We're going to give them vouchers. We're going to do whatever's necessary to move them in another area.
Right.
So all of the so-called RVs and this, that, and the other, what we're going to do now is that if you got an RV parked up there, it has to meet the codes and if it's not running,
can't sit.
That's right. If it's not sitting in property that's not theirs or whatever, you have to park it.
And if you want to see what some of the issues, just drive down, go over to Columbia Boulevard, turn. If you're coming from going west on it, turn on 33rd and go towards the river, and see the mess over there. But take some of the major. We put blinders on. And we go places, and if we see something that don't look right, we find a new route. That doesn't help. The question for me is, if the mayor is going to move these people, where? Because the one place I know he's talking about moving them from is downtown Portland.
That's right. What about those RVs? I got a good idea. Here's now reacting. You've seen all those RVs. They're all parked in the communities and park this, that, and the other. Why not take some of that money? Go to these folks that are there. They've not passed DEQ.
Right.
All this, that, and the other. Take some of that money and fix those trailers and say, here's your voucher. Now you can travel it to another area, but get out the city of Portland.
Yeah.
Okay, take some of that money, because otherwise, because now they're hazardous. People they can have fires, and you've seen fires.
The rat infants. I would hate to think of how the businesses down on 33rd over there is dealing with the rat situation.
Oh, the rat infestation.
Yeah.
All that. But plus the hazardous. Look, imagine the kind of work that the fire department now has devoted themselves. You always hear something about an RV burning up downtown,
right,
underneath a bridge, and all kinds of things. No, take some of that money. Go down there for a one-shot deal. Look here, tell you what, you got an RV here. We're going to fix it up. It's got to run. It's got to pass DEQ, just like I have to pay for DEQ. You have to pass DEQ, whatever. But for this first shot, we're gonna pick it up for you if it's fixable. But you got to tell us where you got it from first.
Yeah. Show. You got to have the proper papers.
That's right.
And
do you own the RV?
Right.
And then the idea is that who sold you the RV? And in fact, that might be an issue we need to deal with the person who sold. If you sell something, it has to have gone through DEQ before you can sell it. You see what I'm saying? That solves that problem. But see, that's not what we're talking about. You got my point?
But see, that's when Joe Blow over here is going, well, wait a minute. If you make them do it, then I have to do it.
Yeah. The other cities. Yeah, that's right. So I'm just saying, the man has said, he said, I'm taking it. I'm gonna do the job. We haven't. We got these rules on the paper. We're gonna make the rules.
Right. Follow the rules.
Follow the rules and the regulations. And so, and especially now, we're right in the midst of the summer, and people are all anticipating what's going to happen when we have the marches. I mean, with no permits. Do not issue anything unless they've got.
You
a permit.
won't start a march. If I was mayor of Portland, and people gathered to have a march in downtown Portland,
Right.
they wouldn't get 2 blocks because then they would meet the force.
But then give them an opportunity, if you will, to listen to why the march to begin with.
Well, number one, if you haven't got the proper, we have to follow the law. If you don't have the proper paperwork, you can't march in the city of Portland.
That's right.
Or the county of Clackamas, or the county of Washington County, Beaverton, Clackamas, Oregon City.
He's interested for the county of Portland, county district number 2. And where's the commissioner for district number 2?
And I look at when all the people were marching downtown, and they were breaking windows and everything, and the property owners couldn't protect their own property.
I know that.
Because they were afraid that if they did something to one of those people, they would end up in jail.
And I'm asking the question, okay, fine, because if you issue the permit, the person's going to have to tell you why this is going to benefit, and how this is going to benefit our lifestyle in Portland. If you're going to get this permit, to march. So I'm just saying, I'm reacting to that.
How are you going to control your crowd?
That's right. And you got to find some insurance. That's what it's all about. You got to have some insurance down there. Because I remember being a Buffalo soldier, we had to go through that same process. We got the Rose Festival coming.
I remember we marched when they were putting together a march when the Coliseum was being built, and
had to have a permit,
and we had to get the permit and show all kind of different.
That's right.
Who's gonna? We had marshals on the side, so people had to stay in where we were supposed to be, and you're not going off to the side.
And that's on the books.
Oh yeah,
that's right. That's on the books. And right now, the Rose Festival is happening right now. The Rose Festival.
Yeah, it's on the books.
Every one of those folks that are participants, they've even got it listed in the newspapers aspect there. But all those entities have permits. They have permits.
Right.
So we can start right there to a certain degree. Permits. Got me? And then like I said, sure, now we're going to need some more law enforcement, but please consider the sheriff. The sheriff should be part of that whole deal. Right. In fact, Mike Reese, who was former Portland police chief, he was Portland chief, and then when he transferred to the county, and he became, and then it now was an elected position. It was, but one of his major ideas was basically doing the force under one roof. It was there, so he improved that whole issue with reference to the waterways and getting the sheriff involved with some of the issues of Portland. Because his job was not just Portland, it was all of the districts. In some cases, he had contracts. I mean, the county, Multnomah County, had contracts with these small areas that they didn't have enough money, blah, blah, blah. Right. So they basically patrolled their area. You know what I'm saying? So my point is, he was going in the right direction. Unfortunately, Mike is not the new elected official now. We got another young lady. Hopefully we're going to probably have her come over, the new sheriff aspect of it. And in fact, even Darrell Peterson, I'm still trying to get him in, but because he's been there for about 30 some odd years, but he was still a jailer. He's got a lot of information that he could share. See, in fact, the first thing that I thought about with Darrell, was the fact when the city started talking about getting that law enforcement police force back at Portland Public Schools.
Mm-hmm.
And Lockett, remember Lockett?
Yeah.
Lockett was the chief.
Mm-hmm.
He was wearing the uniform. Those things. They knew everything about the kids, and and you were there. We spent a lot of time with the custodians.
Right.
And that's the first line of defense. If anybody knows anything about who's in the school, it's a custodian. Right. Who opens the school who opens the first day of school, or if not that, the first thing in the morning, who opens the school? Right. The custodian. They know everything out. They know what the drugs, the whole 9 yards is aspect of, but they don't involve them in that. So
not anymore.
But again, these are the kinds of things that had we not had that exposure, we couldn't talk about it.
Right.
Got me? And that's what we need to talk about today. And so anyway, so make sure that we're going along that particular line. Well, what's some other ideas there? You got any other thing you think about? What about the unions? I mean, we talking. That's another issue.
What was the last thing you heard about a union? Nothing. Because for some reason they seem to have gone silent. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's about your membership. It's about your members. It's about the area in which you're supposed to be taking care of the workers on. But they are part of the community. Mm-hmm. They're part of this, the political well-being of the country. Mm-hmm. And so why, when I was a union rep, I had members that was involved in community activities, and they would call me.
That's right.
And have me come to the meeting with them.
Right.
Make sure they were going in the right direction.
Right. But you didn't take the chairmanship of the meeting.
No. I'm there. I'm just.
You understand
I'm just there.
And the only reason why I'm bringing in at this point to make that point is that because when you think about the Portland police piece, mm-hmm. that's it. We talked about this before. Yeah. The union rep should not be the chief.
Right.
Take the chief. The mayor should make that a point. Send the chief back with his troops.
Right. You can't tell me how to run my business.
That's right.
As the union rep for my workers.
That's right.
We have a contract, and as long as your workers follow the letters of the contract,
that's right.
We're okay. But when I tell them that there's something that they need to do, mm-hmm. and you come in and tell me no, they can't, mm-hmm. then we need to sit down again.
That's right.
Because I want you to show me where in this contract it says I can't do that.
That's right. And that's not being done now.
No. See, they're afraid of these guys. They'll walk off the job. They'll slow down. Yeah. There are rules out there for people that walk off the job. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not doing a good job as it is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so you're paying them a top dollar, mm-hmm. and what are you getting for your money? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm I'm an ex-union rep.
That's right.
I enjoy my pension.
That's right.
I enjoy.
How many years did you spend in that piece?
I spent 19 years.
19 years as a union rep. All right, you got my point. And I could see Bob basically running the police union. However, he wouldn't be the spokesperson.
No,
physically.
That's not my.
And what kind of uniform did you wear?
I wore
suit and tie,
I wore my suit and tie. I had to be business.
Business.
I was business. When I walk into your store, it's about business.
That's right.
I was there to check certain things.
That's right.
I was there to talk to my members, make sure everything was
running good. But you're not a store manager with that.
But I'm not telling the manager what he needs to do. And what was nice about it, most of the managers knew that I used to be a manager.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, I remember that.
And so they would call me if they had a problem.
That's right. I hear that.
And so I didn't have very many grievances mm-hmm. because we were able to talk and settle mm-hmm. things. Mm-hmm. If you were caught stealing, mm-hmm. Wow, my job is to try to get you the least amount of mm-hmm. discipline as possible. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be, in most mm-hmm. cases, I'm not going to be able to save your job. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I might be able to give you an opportunity for that 6 weeks of unemployment. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, I understand.
Well, just like you said, formerly you were working for a grocery,
right?
Big outfit.
Yeah, Safeway.
Safeway aspect of it. Well, here and the police aspect of it. Here we got Portland Police, mm-hmm. and we got the guy who's basically the spokesperson. Don't even have a uniform.
Right.
And we
You
paid,
don't know who he is.
and no, we paid for him to be a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to be anti him or this, that, and the other. No, I'm saying
Look the part.
Look the part. And we're sitting up here saying we're lacking numbers. There's one guy that is not there, right?
Well, one of the things that happens in a number of these, I know the union that takes care of transit, because I was on the board of directors of transit as a union rep. And in many departments of the city, the county, maybe even the state, they have a situation where if you, they're afraid, management is afraid of the union. And it makes no sense to me when a union rep can come in and tell you you're not going to do that. You don't run this business, you know. And you have to make sure that they stay in their lane.
And they understand that.
That's it.
And you do that when you're signing that contract.
And so, you know, I wasn't afraid to tell a worker, you were wrong. You know, I'm here to protect you and to help you, but you were wrong. Now let's take care of the wrong. Let's see what I can do for you. Hey, 3-day suspension without pay, I just saved your job. You know, if they fired you and I got you unemployment, I just gave you an opportunity to get 6 weeks to find a new job.
There you go. There you go.
And it's not on your work record that you were fired for theft or you were fired for something else.
Part of the contract.
Right. You know.
And they understand that.
And so, but now dudes can do the possum guys.
Yep.
Remember that?
Oh, hey.
Nothing happened to them.
No.
The guys that choked Stevenson, that was the first one. Remember that?
Remember that one?
Nothing happened to them. When the police went into this biker's home and killed him.
Yep.
Nothing happened to them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not. When they killed the young lady, the policeman was hanging on instead of hanging on the car and shot her. Nothing happened to him. When the guy was just backing away, trying to get away, and they killed him. Nothing happened to them. You know, and the city fired someone. I remember they fired someone,
and
went to arbitration and reinstated him.
Yeah, all of them.
Back pay.
That's right.
I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Well, look here. I guess we're gonna talk a little bit more, and we invite, in all due respect, we'll invite the union person.
Oh yeah, don't be afraid.
Just come on over to the show here and lay it out.
That's it. Lay out what your job
maybe there's
is.
something that's been missing. That maybe did they go to the same union school that you went to?
Well, I don't know, because I went to management school too. So I know I know how to do what they do, and I know how to be honest with my members as well.
Well, look, Bob, this has been very interesting, and hopefully the viewing audience understands where we're coming from. And you will have these discussions with your neighbors, and maybe call your politicians, or maybe call the mayor up and kind of talk a little bit about that and pull this out, because you can go to city council meeting by doing this piece right here. They meet on the Wednesdays and the Thursdays and along that particular line. So this has been great. We'll be here next week to follow up with what we're doing. And we'll spend a little bit more time on whatever's active during this particular time, because we want to be able to be here to help this transition.
That's it.
For the city of Portland. So we support the packet that the mayor has put out on the table, but it's going to take all of us, including those other city commissioners that are sitting there that wasn't part of the press conference. They should have been there with him supporting. So thank you very, very much for being a part of this program by being a viewer and audience, but it's not effective if you don't do something about it. We just happen to be two individuals who are voters who's been around enough that we're talking with facts, and we'll challenge anybody that's interested in challenging what we're saying. Okay. So with that, thank you very, very much for being with us, and Bob, always a pleasure.
Hey, likewise.
Okay, fine. Take care. See you later. Have a good one.